He said, can you share some strategies on how to market a side hustle with a limited budget?
Well, I mean, it's a pretty broad question. Kind of depends on the side hustle. There's kind of obviously there's organic media and paid media. Obviously, organic media you can get for free, as opposed to paid media, and so that's why leaning in, especially early on, if you're passionate about it, a content platform, whether it's a blog or TikTok or Instagram or even a podcast or video, something where you're creating content that relates to that specific product and adds value to anyone who's within that community of that product or that side hustle that you're creating. So content driven marketing, really if you're the content creator, as you should be, especially early on with your products, you can do pretty inexpensively or even for free. And obviously it's very competitive, but you should be doing that either way in building out that side of your marketing. So I think that's a no-brainer, and should be pick the content platform that you like, that you can stick with, that you want to create content around, and then build content for your sort of core consumer, and build an audience. And there's just so many different ways that you can do that, really, for any type of side hustle. And so no matter what, I'd encourage you to do that.
And I guess on that point, just a follow-up question from my side is, I guess once you've started with organic, and this is happening with me and my Amazon FBA, and it's like I want to experiment with paid. And what does that process look like if, say, I've got $500 which I want to put towards some sort of paid growth?
First thing is think about where your audience is. And so often, your products, Logan, I can get a general sense for, they're probably, hanging out on TikTok and, talking about music festivals, for example, right? So that's a very specific audience where, TikTok is one of those platforms that's getting more expensive, but you can still get really good deals. Twitter right now is kind of the Wild West, but you can get good deals there. Just pick where your audience is. Where would you go? Where would you be looking? And then advertise on that platform. Oftentimes, there's incentives to start an advertising account. So Google will give you $100 to $500 to start an account, so you can get some free ad spend that they basically match what you're spending. And then there's always promos that those companies are trying to run to get you to advertise on their platform, so you can get 2 to 1 on your spend. And then it's starting small and testing and making sure that the appropriate tracking is set up. That's often where I see things fall flat, is that the attribution model, these platforms are built for attribution models, right? To see what ad generates what sale, but you have to have that appropriate tracking set up. And so you can throw $500 into one of those channels and just burn it up and learn nothing and make a few sales but not know where they came from. Or you can do it very kind of a little bit slowly, and then track what's actually driving sales, and then the things that are driving sales you can double down on. So go where your audience is. Target other channels, other people who have an audience that you think would buy what you're selling. But that can be tough if you have a limited budget, you've never done this before, and you don't have any organic content to back up. Then maybe the sales process ends up being a little bit longer for your product than you thought it would be, and you have an ad, someone comes to your page, but they don't buy the first time. If there's no way for them to add their email or you to give them something for free of value, you might lose the opportunity to sell to them on that second or third brand touch point instead of the first one. And so oftentimes you see with social ads specifically, or a lot of ads, there's something, some freebie being given away or something small so you can get their email, and then you can market to them over a little bit longer time period. to get them to buy what you want, as opposed to just seeing a very specific, ad, for your product when they don't know your brand, they don't know you. So having that sort of free thing that you offer, as well as just some other ways for them to engage with you before, just sending paid traffic, is smart, because you don't want to spend the money to get in front of someone and not make the sale and then lose the opportunity to engage with them later.
Yeah, I think one mistake I made literally last week is I was running some Amazon paid ads, and I had all the tracking set up, and I was experimenting with a couple of things, but I kind of experimented with multiple things at once, and then changes happened, but I just couldn't work out like what was causing them. So I think when you are experimenting, kind of